go to the valley, climb the hill, never takes time.
A territorial tax system means that U.S. companies will pay income on income related to the U.S. So it's territorial. U.S. companies will not be subject to worldwide income, which has made them uncompetitive.
That was Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, earlier, kind of explaining some of the changes they want to get in tax reform. They're not going to get everything they're after, but he was just kind of describing how since the end of the Reagan era in the late 80s until now, so if you figure that ended in 88, almost 30 years, they have not changed the corporate tax rate. It's been like 34 or 35% for all of that time. Meanwhile, countries around the world have. And they see this as a way of leveling the playing field and getting companies to bring some of that money back into the country. Welcome back. By the way, in case you're watching on the Granite Transformation studio camera, you may have noticed that I've kind of stepped it up a little bit today. Did you notice that, Liz?
I did. I figured since you realized you were finally on the webcam that you would...
Kind of fun. Thanks.
I'm just joking.
You mean the good hair wasn't enough? I'm wearing a shirt and a tie today because I had something I had to attend before I came here this morning. You know what this is?
A tie.
This is a Johnny Londoff tie.
Oh.
The Mr. Original Johnny Londoff.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody came to his office to visit him, he had a box of ties under his desk that he would give people. Mm-hmm. And he gave me this tie. His son gave me this tie. So isn't that cool?
So have you just had like everybody ask you why you're dressed up?
I have. I told him that I'm trying to get into management here at the radio station. So
anytime I wear a dress, because I usually wear pants and like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Jeans and a t-shirt. Everybody's like, what do you have going on today?
You have a job interview? Is that what you're doing?
I'm like, I didn't feel like doing laundry last night, so I wore a dress.
Yeah. I told him I'm moonlighting
See, and that's
as a maitre d' down the street. So that's it.
I should be telling him I'm going for management.
All right. Welcome back. You know, I've invited Brian Agers to stop by the studio today. And of course, he runs Agers HVAC and a great supporter of the program, and we appreciate that. But when Brian and I were getting to know each other a little bit, he was telling me about something that's happening in the air conditioning world. And because all of us have an air conditioner, because it's 100 stinking degrees in St. Louis for most of the summer, it's going to impact all of you at some point. Maybe not if you have a window unit, but if you have a central air conditioning unit, this is going to hit you in the wallet at some point, and that's the Freon. So, Brian, welcome into the program.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark.
No, I appreciate it. It's good to see you. It's Brian and I. We have a lot in common. You're a Boy Scout leader. Is your son an Eagle, or he's about to be an Eagle?
He completed his project, and we're still waiting on paperwork.
That's awesome. My son's an Eagle, so we had a lot in common with that, and thrilled that you're supporting the program. But on to this issue with is it Freon? Is that what you refer to it as these days?
Yeah, Freon's kind of a generic term. A lot of people think that Freon is disappearing, and it's not. You know, it's more commonly called refrigerant in our industry, and specifically R22 is what is eventually going to get phased out over the next couple or 3 years.
And so, which one is cheaper and which one's more expensive right now? Is it the replacement that's causing prices to go up, or is it trying to get a hold of the old stuff?
No, it's the old stuff.
Okay,
so
all right.
After 2006, manufacturing started gravitating toward R410A, which is the newest refrigerant.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, new equipment has an expense to it. Some people, for whatever reason, have decided not to pay for new equipment yet, or, and the price goes up every year. And it seems like when manufacturers are told what to do by the federal government, or at least strongly encouraged what to do, the prices get driven up.
Sure. So is there a cutoff? Like, for example, my air conditioner unit at home is probably at least 10 years old. So if you've bought one within the last 2 years or 3 years, is it already using the new stuff? Or when the old stuff gets phased out, the new stuff comes in, will they have to retrofit my old unit if it's still pumping at that point?
Well, if you've got a unit that's 2 years old, I would hope that it's 410A refrigerant.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, there's some loopholes in the law, and some manufacturers chose to continue to manufacture equipment that uses R22. And the law stated that you couldn't manufacture equipment and sell it that was pre-charged with R22.
Wow.
So what they did is they manufactured the equipment, didn't put any Freon in it or any R22 in it, sold it. Then the dealer gets a hold of it, and after it's installed, they add R22.
I see.
And that loophole's been closed, but we enjoyed a good, when I say we, I mean the industry enjoyed a good, 10 years of slipping through the loophole there.
Sure. So whoever slipped through the loophole knew that it was a loophole, and they were using it to their advantage, I'm assuming, right?
Well, the dealers certainly did. I don't
Yeah.
know if they would have
Yeah.
telegraphed that to the customer or not, but, to me, I've never bought into the sell the dry charge. I know it's cheaper on the front side, but the problem is that sooner or later, as the unit ages and the Freon that it takes gets more and more expensive and more scarce, it's going to end up costing the homeowner a considerable bit more than if they would have gone with R410A to begin with.
Okay. So what does it? When we say it's getting more expensive, put that in dollar terms for us to go out and recharge somebody's unit if they're at zero, if they've lost all pressure on their unit.
It depends upon the size and the tonnage. 5 years ago, you probably could have had an air conditioner that held 5 pounds of refrigerant, for instance, recharged for somewhere around $200.
Okay.
Now that figure is over $600 for most people.
No kidding.
And it's only getting worse because by 2020, the federal government has said you can't manufacture R22 anymore. So, and every year since they've put this mandate in place, the drawdown has been, they're stepping down the production. So we're at a point now where I talked to one of my suppliers today, and he said there's going to be shortages this summer where some dealers aren't going to be able to get a hold of the quantities that they're looking for. There are replacement refrigerants that you can quote unquote drop in. It's not necessarily drop in. Nothing ever is.
Never.
You have
no.
to take all of the existing refrigerant out. They're blended refrigerants. You have to change the filter dryer. You've got to change some rubber seals. You've got to add an additive to kind of clean up the system and to allow the drop-in or replacement refrigerant to pull the oils through the system to lubricate it. And if you do have a leak, and obviously Freon doesn't go anywhere unless it leaks out. So if you have a leak that's active and the dealer that you're dealing with can't find it or didn't give you the appropriate means to fix it, and you continue to have a leak, a drop-in isn't going to help you, because drop-in refrigerant is almost as expensive as R22. It's just more plentiful.
Right.
But because it's a blend, they leak out in different mass weights, and when they leak out in different mass weights, what you've got left after you've lost 30%, 50%, is not the refrigerant that you thought you had when you started.
Sure.
So then to fix that, you have to pull all that refrigerant out and put all brand new stuff in.
So I've appreciated your honesty in the time that I've gotten to know you. What question should a homeowner ask if a service crew shows up and they come to the door and say, well, you're low on refrigerant or you're out of refrigerant? Are there questions people should ask to make sure that they're not either being taken advantage of or they're not paying more than they need to?
Yeah, I mean, I would, if I was a consumer and didn't know what was going on, because, I mean, quite frankly, the problem with any consumer that doesn't know the industry, whether it's automobiles or heating and air conditioning, is you're at the mercy of whoever you're dealing with.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
I think the first thing I would ask is, if I'm missing refrigerant, where did it go? Because it's not like gasoline in a car where it gets burned up.
It's a closed system, right?
It's a closed system. So finding out where it went is a big deal. And a lot of times it leaks in such small quantities that we can't find the leak.
Okay.
They call it de minimis loss, where you're losing a pound or 2 pounds a year because of some sort of pinhole or corrosion that is almost impossible to find.
Can I get some de minimis loss so I can lose a pound or two a year? That'd be fantastic.
It'd be great if
Thank
it worked
you.
that way.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I mean, there are sealants that we can add to systems to try to stop that. But getting the leak stopped is a big deal. Vetting why the recommendations are being made. Why are we adding instead of looking at replacement? I think any homeowner that's missing more than a couple $100 worth of refrigerant probably needs to be asking the question, what is it going to look like if I buy new equipment? Because even though new equipment is more expensive, certainly up front, it's not going to leak. It's going to have a big warranty. You can finance it through, for instance, Laclede Gas has a very attractive installment loan program that is very affordable to homeowners. And typically, homeowners are, at least the people that we're dealing with, are saving 30 to 45% on their cooling bill when they change from the old R22 equipment to the new 410A.
Higher efficiency.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's rebates too, which help
sure.
offset. I mean, the average rebate our customer is seeing right now is about $1,625.
It's a fair question. I mean, I think that if you're going to have to drop $500 or $600 to get a system recharged or more, that's when you have to start looking at, well, if this happens again, and I'm not quite sure why it all leaked out to begin with, and they can't find the leak, a couple years from now I got to pay out another $600. At that point, you're probably kind of throwing good money after bad compared to getting a new system, even though that's not cheap. If you own a home, you know that at some point your furnace is going to get replaced, your air conditioner. The key is finding somebody you trust who's not going to just try to take advantage of you and just tell you need a new system, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that you really don't quantify in addition to the money is that compressors and air conditioners need to be cooled off. And when your system is low on refrigerant, there's not enough cool refrigerant coming back to properly cool the compressor off.
Right.
It runs your utility bill up, it shortens the life of the compressor and the outdoor unit, and it does weird things to the refrigerants that are left in the system, like overheats them. So it's just every which way you slice it, it's bad for the equipment and it's bad for the energy usage.
Well, Brian Agers, I appreciate the insight into that, and hopefully that gives people an idea what they may be in for this summer if they end up needing to get their system recharged and kind of what's coming down. Maybe Donald Trump can back that regulation off. Is it too late?
It's too late. They passed that in 2006.
Rats.
Thanks to the lobbyist.
I was hopeful. That's Brian Agers. He's with Agers HVAC. If you want to get more information from him or have him come out and look at one of your systems, he's told me they're going to give $20 off to people who are new customers who make a service call or a new service agreement with them. Just go to their website. That's AGERS, callagers.com. Brian, thank you, man.
Thank you, Mark.
Great spending time with you. Appreciate your support of the show. We sure do. And that's good information for all of us to have. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. I'll get to your phone calls on tax reform if I can answer those questions, or maybe what's going on with health care. And we'll get Tony Colombo in here in just a minute. We'll be right back.
Never takes God. You know I will. Hey,
this is the Marc Cox Show.
Your heaven so dark.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Cloudy, windy with waves of rain and some thunderstorms. The heaviest of the action is going to be mid to late afternoon. 72 for the high. I think that happens about midday with a drop into the 60s as we go through the afternoon hours. Tonight, waves of rain and thunderstorms, especially before midnight, 48 degrees. Then on Thursday, partly sunny. It's a dry day Thursday, 65. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
The Marc Cox Show is sponsored in part by Granite Transformations. Let them transform your kitchen, bath, or commercial space. Explore the wide selection of products in their beautiful showroom in Chesterfield or online at granitetransformations.com. They have the perfect solution for your next project. Well, let me tell you about my dentist, Dr. Michael White, down at Sunset Hills Dentist. And when I tell you that it's a different experience from the time you walk in the door, I mean it. I've talked to you about the different kinds of things they do at no charge once you're in the chair and checking for pH balance in your mouth and all this stuff that I never would have thought about. I've talked to you about the fact that Dr. White doesn't want you to be uncomfortable going to the dentist. Some people are nervous. He offers anxiety-free sedation if it's something you need. But here are a couple of the other things. They have those chairs when you go sit down. It's like a massage chair. It's just awesome. They can give you noise-canceling headphones if those things are bothering you. You can charge your cell phone right in the chair if you need to. I mean, these are just things that he's done there that's important to him, that his clients are happy and his patients are satisfied with the service, and he wants you, of course, to keep coming back. And they can even do things like same-day crowns and things like that. Check out his website. He's going to give you a great deal, initial exam and all that, consultation for $1. Go to sunsethills.dentist. That's his website. Or call him at 314-270-8552.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. The home